Hey everybody. So I have quite a case, and oh my goodness, you're going to want to hear this because it's so crazy. I'm not solving it. I haven't solved it yet. I am this close, but I could not wait to give you this tea. Like, holy crap. Tea from 1925. Actually, technically 1924. So welcome back to Client Stories with Amy. So a little background on this case is the client is looking for the grandmother's birth parents. She was adopted out of Texas in 1925, but she was born in 1924 in Oklahoma, according to records, but I believe it's wrong. She didn't know anything, but she did have some really good documents that she didn't think was important, but she still sent them anyway. Anytime you have any type of information, any clue, any story, any documentation, as little as you think it is, how unimportant you think it is, it might be the clue that could help solve something. So always, 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 everything, even if you don't think it's important, give that information to whoever is working your case. Whether it's us or somebody else, it doesn't matter. Give all that information. That being said, this document right here, and I'm going to read you this document. This is the document that she had for her grandmother's adoption. And I'm going to change a little bit of identifying information in this. That before the undersigned authority on this day came Mrs. Annie Smith of this county of Texas, being sworn to me on oath testified as follows. My name is Mrs. Annie Smith. I have been residing in this county in Texas since December 22nd, 1924. My home is in this town in Texas. That about 5 months ago, Mrs. Williams left me in my care in possession a baby girl, that is her grandchild, and it leaves a name, it has the name of this child, to be left in my care and keeping until I could find it a home and put it in an orphanage. As you can tell by my face, I was pissed off hearing in this record that they're listing this baby girl as an it more than once. Like, this is a baby. This is a living, breathing human being that is abandoned by her family. Like, this is a baby girl. Don't call this baby girl an it. That the baby's mother is dead, dying in Oklahoma at the baby's birth or within a few weeks. And this person does not know anything about the baby's father or whereabouts if he is living. The pursuant to Mrs. Williams, but Mrs. Williams had another name in here. It was Mrs. Jones, and they crossed out Mrs. Jones and put Mrs. Williams. That Jones is the same surname as the baby's birth name. That's going to come into play in a minute. That was my clue number one, is that Mrs. Jones was crossed out and replaced with Mrs. Williams, and Jones was that baby's birth name. Has decided to give the child to Mr. and Mrs., the adoptive parents' names, of Lubbock, Texas, having become convinced of their fitness in every way. They can rear a child, they're going to love it, they're going to educate it, they're God-fearing Christians, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Nothing else is important. But the other little clue is this signature right there. That is Annie Smith's signature. But it gets better. What are the odds that I could find this Mrs. Annie Smith? Who is this lady? Does she know this baby? Is she related? And I found her. And I was able to find her based on this signature, because I found another Annie Smith. Smith is so common. Annie's a common name. What were the odds that the person that gave this baby away, that says she's not related, that she was just handed a baby from a grandmother to place up for adoption, what are the odds that this woman would be the woman that I have DNA matches to her family line? And thankfully for us, I'm going to repeat that again, because thankfully for us, almost 20 years prior to this baby getting placed for adoption, Mrs. Annie Smith has a baby. And the only child of her 5 known children, this is the only one with Annie's signature on it. Those signatures on both documents are the same freaking signature, almost 20 years apart. And I have DNA matches to Miss Annie Smith's family line. She's related. Now, I'm working on to figure out how closely. She could be an auntie, a grandma, or a birth mom. I suspect she's the birth mom or a grandma. That's what I think she is, and I'm tweaking and isolating the DNA matches to kind of narrow in on that exact relationship. I think I can decipher which relationship it is. But yeah, it's the same woman. So this is one line of DNA. This Annie Smith's family line, her parents are our most recent common ancestors that I can find right now. They're the most recent. I haven't been able to find a second line to make sure like this is the birth parents line, because if this is the birth parent line, I think it's Annie. If it's not Annie, it's one of her siblings. If I find another most recent common ancestor online for her husband or whatever, then it's a grandmother. She's the grandmother. One of her children is the birth mother of our client's grandma. So this is one line of DNA. And like I said, the client's grandma's adopted, so we have another line. So this is either the birth mom or the birth father. I have a hunch this is the birth mom and that this is the birth mom line because of Annie. So the other line would be the birth father, right? That's what I suspect. And the birth father's line has a Jones, has a Miss Jones in it. So that's where I'm at. I've got all of these things. We don't have the first name matched to the Mrs. Williams / maybe Jones, and then the baby's surname is Jones. So that's what I'm working now to figure out that little bit. But I could not wait to bring this to you. I was like, what are the freaking odds that a woman who gives this baby up, and I have so many questions, like if this is mom or if this is grandma, what the heck happened? I know Annie became a widow in 1918. She had a baby in 1919, 7 months later, that she kept. She kept 5 of the first 5 children she kept. So if this last one, this would be her 6th one, she would have gave this one up for adoption. Was times really, really hard back then? She couldn't feed the babies she had because she's a widow. Like, what happened? If that was the case, why lie on that document? Why say that the grandmother just handed you a baby and told you to figure out what to do with it? Figure out what to do with it, since that's what was in the dang adoption paperwork. What to do with this baby girl? Like, I have so many questions. And if it's not the birth mom, you're the grandma, then again, did you just take the baby from your baby and like give her away? Did you, like, what is the issue here? What happened? But that's what I'm working out. I'm trying to figure out the direct relationship of Annie to our client's grandmother, if she is related, or if this is the birth father's line and she's maybe the auntie. But that's what I'm working for. I just could not wait to bring this to you because it was just too crazy. Too much of a, like what are the odds that I could find a signature to match it to? Because literally she had 5 children that were known and only the first one had a signature on it. None of the other ones had signatures. I was looking for death certificates to see if there's an informant's like signature, and then I was looking all over the place, and I don't know how this happened. Like, we had some good juju on this to be able to find this signature to compare. But that is it for today. Don't forget to hit like, follow, and share. Do not forget, up in our link tree is a link to our website if you need to have somebody work your case. And also there's a link to our YouTube channel for our show, Lost and Found, No More Secrets, which is going to drop again, a new episode tomorrow. You want to see this one, I promise, don't miss it. And I will see you guys probably tomorrow with maybe an update or a different case, and then I'll do an update on this one on Friday. We'll see how far I get today. But that's it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.